have some say breeding the horse.
There you go.
He dominated the competition.
That's
He
it.
wouldn't out.
You wouldn't be. What does Danny Miller do with this
Good
book?
morning.
Good morning.
They run on the racetrack.
Okay, so they're racers.
Yeah.
They are full horse race.
Yeah.
Yeah, that and then also, Matt.
So that's why you the big wave. Are you?
Mhm.
Are you filming it?
Yeah,
Matt and Mindy just opened up the big thing.
we're trying out the new YouTube live.
Oh, yeah. How long did that take you to do?
Hmm.
How long did that take you to do?
It took me long.
I imagine. I was thinking like 6 hours. Good morning. How's everyone?
Yeah.
I was thinking 6 or 8 hours.
Mhm.
Morning, Lou.
Racing is important. I thought they were thoroughbreds, but they're actually horses. I've talked to them.
Danny knows. Oh, yeah. He'll talk to you. He won't, you could have been next way.
Well, you know, it's kind of interesting, because I'm talking to him about trying to he has he bans 21 in a bundle.
Does he?
And he created a front load.
It's going.
Yeah.
This is the second most important.
Oh, well, I know. But I don't know much about it.
I think it's gotta be advertised.
So.
It's already forming highway all the way.
Right out.
Down the park with lot, but it's all the way.
Hi.
Well, here comes easy money.
Yeah. Big problem we have is Arkansas, besides the
Gallaher.
egresses and egresses with
Gallaher.
Arkansas, back when I was mayor, we agreed to turn into 4-lane, met at the county, the state line down there.
Have you ever been to Arkansas and seen some of their off-ramps?
I'm sorry?
Yeah, they don't use their distances correctly, but that doesn't matter. They were gonna make it 4-lane from Little Rock all the way up. And Papa Bluff passed the tax to do it, when we did it, we got funding from the state incrementally, and then Arkansas still hasn't. They still got another 100 probably miles of, and if that turns 4-lane, then you will see the traffic from Houston and Dallas and everything else come up. That's going to Chicago and St. Louis, because you won't have to, truck drivers are funny, it's gonna take them a half an hour less, they'll just do it. You don't have to really encourage them that much. You know what I'm saying? Well, you really don't wanna go to West Memphis, they'll say, we're going where it's a half an hour short, you know what I mean? But until that happens, there's a stretch, 2-lane, that they've got to negotiate. They just,
Surprised how many trucks is on the highway.
yeah, it's getting, it's real close, even with that 2-lane in Arkansas, to be the same time, if not cheaper. If you catch it right, it's actually shorter, you go to St. Louis, or to Chicago,
Well,
Houston, Minneapolis, they'll be okay. That's a huge 2-lane next to the work with the, with the 2-lane. Bridge, we start with the low, I guess 4 lanes to nowhere, because
Okay, it's 10 o'clock, let's call this meeting to order. Roll call, sir.
All present, sir.
Okay, as you wish, stand for the pledge and invocation. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Father, we thank you for fall time of the year and just the change of the seasons. We ask your wisdom today. We ask you to be with us, help us to learn and decide, you know. She's gonna be great.
Good.
Consent agenda. Minutes of last week, and the regular and a county collector's monthly report. Any, motion?
Second that motion.
Okay, all in favor? Thank you. No table agenda items. We need to authorize the order to order a dump truck for the 2019 budget. And there's a picture of what we want. That's one we already have, and it's just an update of that. Explains it. It's already on the state bid. You don't have to go to the city. But it takes a year to order and have it built. And we want this for next winter, or a year from now. So the funds are in the budget. Do I have a motion?
I move that we authorize to pre-order the dump truck or whatever that would be called for the 2019 budget.
Second. I'll second that. Any questions or comments? Any questions at all? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Authorization to designate a truck lift as surplus equipment. This is road and bridge again. There is a big specialized unit down there. It had to be built into the floor. It's for heavy trucks only. They found a way that they can trade that for a more portable unit that can be used under any kind of vehicle. Doesn't have to be built into the room. And to do the trade, we need to call this particular lift a surplus item, and then it can be traded.
So I move that we authorize the designation of surplus, that truck lift, in order to get more usable equipment.
Second. I'll second that. Any questions?
John, maybe you would explain.
Any additional comments?
Well, just to elaborate a little bit, the lift was purchased by the previous administration at Road and Bridge. And we do not have the infrastructure in place to support this system. So it wasn't thought out that far into it when it was purchased. It's gonna cost us a great deal of money to make the infrastructure improvements at our new shop to install this lift. So we are able to acquire a more portable unit that can still do the exact same job that this lift would do without having to spend the money on our shop to do it, and may even receive some refund as funds for the cost difference of the lift from the one we're getting as opposed to the one that we have.
Okay.
So that was the issue, was the infrastructure problems that our facility supported.
Was that, Clay, was that to be a lift permanently mounted inside the shop?
Yes,
Recessed into the floor.
recessed into the floor.
Okay.
Now, the one they're wanting is 4 individual jacks, hydraulic jacks.
Yes.
Controlled by a central unit. So they position these jacks under whatever vehicle they want to lift, wherever they want to lift it, and hit the control unit, and it's got the safety factors built in, lockouts and all that.
Very similar to what the city of Farmington has now, and they can lift fully loaded fire trucks.
5 ton, they can do 5 ton?
No, they can lift a fire truck,
Lift
loaded
it
with
With
water.
fire?
Yes.
And they're
40 ton.
portable?
Portable.
They're wheeled?
Yes.
Okay. And they-
4 individual units that work in
Yes,
tandem.
I've seen them in action, they're really pretty good.
If we have a concrete pad outside, this could be done outside and raise the trucks up and wash the salt.
Still perform the functions that
So this has a lot of uses that have been.
You got your bay tied up.
The downside, or not the downside, but the ultimate goal is we get a more usable system with money back. Any other comments? All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Pay grade adjustment, this is collector's office, Pam.
Hi, Lisa's been, working in the office for 5 years now, and she's learned the job, and she's taken on new tasks, so I would like to see her bumped up from, Deputy Clerk 1 to Deputy Clerk 2.
Okay, and the next step. Okay, any
She-
questions?
She's
Any
taking on,
motion?
she's taking on additional responsibilities. Obviously, we have this built in your budget. I would move that we move Lisa Redmond to from a step 4 to a step 5 deputy clerk 2.
Is it for, and this is for the next year's budget.
Yes, for next year.
I'd second the motion.
Okay, now, are there any questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Request for full-time position, Dana is having a case right now, can't be here to present this. There is a lot of additional work going on tomorrow, Saturday. Like I say, they're out there working now, and that business is growing. We don't wanna talk about that, but it's becoming more busy. So this is a consideration that she's asked for. I don't think we wanna work on it now, in my opinion, don't wanna do this immediately, but, just something we'd like to take into consideration and act on possibly later. Is that all right? You need a
I
motion?
move that we just take this under consideration for further hearing. We need to do that? We need to, don't have to do that, okay, let's do that.
You're just taking it under consideration.
Okay, no action on this today. Next regular meeting is next Monday, new term. Agenda items must be in this Friday at 10 a.m. Same time, same place, not the same time, it's different day, but same place. Other business, correspondence. Public comments. Yes, Pat?
This is in relationship to what we were just talking about. Almost all private businesses in the county are looking at their pay scale with the shortage of workers right now, and with people that have the same skill set as a lot of your positions here at the courthouse are going to be hiring 300 to 400 people. Has the county looked at that and said, okay, what are we going to be able to adjust? How are we going to be able to get starting people in that are qualified if they're starting in private business at $13, $14 an hour with full benefits and things? How do we keep retaining people that have been with us 4 or 5 years and longer? I mean, all private businesses, I know the banks are all in that discussion, how they compete. Has the county looked at that at all?
We haven't felt the crunch yet, but I see your point, and it's something we probably do need to look at. Every time we have a job, we have a lot of good applications.
Well, that was one thing that when the economy was bad, you were very competitive.
Yeah.
The economy's good, you're not so competitive, and it's like private business, you're gonna have to make an adjustment.
It's a good point.
Unfortunately, too.
Any other comment? Okay, public comments, okay, departmental reports. We talked before about 953B, and we rented this one. There's been a lot of work, Busick Road, you cleared land behind the jail, you've done some work with it.
We had about 300 loads of dirt right behind that piece of equipment. I think you may have on a couple other
I
slides.
didn't put those up.
Right. You did not put them up?
No, I didn't
Okay.
put them up.
There was about 300 loads of dirt. When we perform a job, if a landowner doesn't want the spoils, or there's brush, any kind of debris, we have to have a place to dump it.
And our Maple Street demolition as well, is there.
And we cannot drive from the southern end of the county to the northern end of the county to dump spoils. So this is a place that
And it's
obviously.
productive fill.
Productive fill. And as we're doing it, we're getting a level site, 2 grade, in case there's ever an application for it in the future.
We've got 20 acres back there.
Right.
But the beauty of this is that we got a month to test it to make sure we want this. Now, this machine, 46 was the purchase price.
Pretty close, yeah.
Somewhere in there. And
46 for
the rental will come off of that if we decide to buy it.
Right.
We're using the rental for a good purpose, so that'll work out well. So
Correct.
we've got a month to decide.
We're gonna use it about 2 weeks, and then Buck's gonna perform some oil sample tests on it, send them off to Fabic, and make sure everything's,
It's got new undercarriage, I believe.
does have new undercarriage.
Okay. And the money's in this year's budget for that purchase.
Correct. Correct. When you talk about that oil sampling, Buck, can you kind of explain what you were gonna do with that? I mean, that's really.
Well, we go and we pull the oil out of, a sample out of each compartment. The engine, the transmission, the final drive, the hydraulics. And, we send it to the lab, and then it'll tell us if it's got any contaminants like iron or copper or brass or dirt or just any kind of contaminants, and you can pretty well diagnose if it's getting ready to have a problem in that component.
So just being for sale, it would have new fluids in it.
They just change all the fluids, so you gotta run it for a while with, the oil, the new oil in it,
And
to see if there is any contaminants in it.
With fleet managers, oil checking is, oil testing is a common thing.
Right. Yeah, we done it where I used to work with everything.
So if you get samples back and the diagnostics show that the transmission's got issues,
Iron
the
or copper or-
engine's got issues, that's something we'll have to take into consideration.
Or buying it, yeah,
Save
before
us
we
a lot
buy
of
it.
money.
Or if they wanna fix it before we buy it.
All right, any other comments?
adjourn.
Second.
I would like to add something from Broken Bridge. I know it was discussed at last week's meeting about, the possibility of using prisoners or inmate crews to, pick up trash along county roadways. And John nor I we couldn't be here at last week's meeting, so we couldn't really comment on it, but I just wanted to, elaborate on that a little bit. We have applied to participate in this program, through the Eastern Reception Diagnostic Center, Bonne Terre, and we've contacted the administration there, and roughly 6 months ago, when they told us it takes anywhere from 6 months to a year to get the approval to screen the prisoners to have us a crew ready. So we're just waiting on them to say, okay, we have you a crew ready, and then when they do, then we'll take it from there and probably start utilizing them for trash pickup only. So I know there were some questions last week about that, and I just kind of wanted to elaborate. So we're kind of in a holding pattern right now, just waiting for a response from the state.
Any other questions on this?
Well, I'd asked about it last week, so
Right.
I appreciate your sharing that. I thought you guys said, though, that it wasn't feasible.
Well,
There's a lot of things to consider.
and that's part of their screening process as far as, they have a lot of parameters that they go through as far as assigning people to certain positions and, certain locations, throughout the county, throughout the state. So, we will refer to their judgment on how that we should proceed with that, and we're just waiting to get back from them.
I think part of the thing we said was we can't use Dan's prisoners because of
Right.
local guys and
Right.
that kind of issue. So there's all kinds of situations in it.
So there's a lengthy process in screening and having the right guys for the right position.
Right now, the state of Missouri uses them in our local area.
City of Farmington,
City of Farmington,
Park
City of
Hills.
Park Hills.
Well, I knew that, yeah.
Almost every
That's why I asked.
municipality uses them, and we will use them for that, which,
They just come out of the work release program over there, right?
yes, well, they're in the institution, but they'll come out for the day with us. And, we would use them primarily just to pick up trash. It's not that we don't do that, but we're usually busy doing everything else, and it's one thing that we don't necessarily hand pick the trash that much. So that was where we could, and the trash problems just get worse and worse all over the county, so.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Okay,
Good deal.
thank you.
I do have something too. Before we adjourn. Today, the absentee voting started for the November election. You can vote in the office during regular business hours up through Monday, November the 5th, 5 p.m. That'll be the last day to vote absentee. You can request an absentee ballot in the mail, and the last day to do that is October 31st to get an absentee ballot in the mail. We will also be open on November the 3rd, which is a Saturday from 8 until noon for absentee voting. And the last day to register to vote in the November election is October the 10th. So if you're not registered, you need to register by October 10th to be able to vote in the November election.
Okay, I have a motion second to adjourn. Anything else? Okay, a motion second to adjourn. Okay, and all in favor? If you want to know about our roads, Evan, you talked at length about Arkansas, but I was talking about our local situation. And anybody got input on that?
Does it have to do with,
There you go. That's the first
Ingresses
line
and
on it.
egresses.
That's a major.
a major expense to eliminate?
Okay, thank you all.
Yes, sir. I'll be right there.